Good evening, boys. Welcome to the Week 10 Fantasy Football Ashland Clowns recap. I unfortunately do not have a special guest this week as my guest bailed on me. So that's fine. They'll be back next week. Hopefully we'll figure that out. But I just wanted to throw out a quick recap video at this point. The commissioner's under the weather a little bit here, so hopefully you can bear with me. But lots of interesting things as we're approaching the point in the season that is make or break for a lot of teams. So we will see how things are playing out at this point, who is guaranteed to be in the losers bracket and who is on the bubble, as well as the trends of the teams moving forward in their respective divisions. So let's jump on over to the main screen and see what we got going on here. Quickly, as we are on the league home, we're looking at the final standing projections. Matt is climbing to number 1 with Kevin in second. They have been the front runners all year, but Dunn is making his way up there as well, surpassing me and Jared as the fourth place team. Third place team, we will make sure that we give Dunn the credit and time that he deserves in this episode. Ari and Joe are still at the bottom kind of trading, and then we have a toss-up between Sternick, Brandon, Ben, and Joe kind of on that bubble. So let's go over and check the standings as we were talking about that. So what we can see is that we've got Ari, who's guaranteed at this point to be in the losers bracket. There is no way for him to make the playoffs. As you can see, he has a 0% playoff chance. We have Ben, Sternick, Joe, and Brandon all on the bubble. It's kind of been between Joe and Sternick for who's going to have that fourth place in the losers bracket. But with Brandon's team starting to put up massive numbers, as we'll see, and Ben's team having an off week this week, it is going to be very interesting to see who slumps to the seventh position. God, that was brutal. Who kind of trickles into this seventh position here? Right now, it's Joe. Even with a 4-6 record, Sternick surprisingly has a 51% chance of making the playoffs, while Joe has a 31% chance. But who knows? So we will see that. But it is lots of very interesting stories. At this point, Kevin is safe, Matt is safe, and essentially Dunn is also safe in the playoffs for the top, not necessarily the top 3, but they're guaranteed in the playoffs. Myself and Jared are almost certain guarantees to be in the playoffs as well with 6-4 records. But anything can happen. It's fantasy football, as we know. So with that said, let's jump into Week 10. Given there's only 4 weeks left in the season, actually, just so that everybody knows, we've only got 4 weeks left, including this week. So that's why we're having some guaranteed playoff berths at this point. So jumping into the first game, my team stunk this week. I was in the Ben and Kevin camp. Matt had a very typical week for his team. Even with Tom Brady starting and Mike Evans kind of starting, Amon-Ra St. Brown finally found his form again from the beginning of the season pre-injury. So that was probably very good to see for Matt. Etienne dropped off a little bit. Dalvin Cook had a phenomenal game. That Buffalo-Minnesota game was the craziest game of football I have seen in a very long time. It probably is the second craziest football game that I've seen. The first being the game that the Pats beat the Falcons in the Super Bowl. Justin Jefferson had the catch of the past decade in that game, so it was just wild. But my team significantly performed. Juju Smith-Schuster almost died, so that is unfortunate. Juba Hubbard was a terrible decision to start. Eckler was bad. Allen was bad. Tyreek Hill was bad. Schultz was the only good player on my team. Holy cow. Anyways, this was a big win for Sternick. This was a must-win game. Ari's team performed very average. This is interesting to see as Sternick did trade Nick Chubb and Cordero Patterson, and was it Najee Harris too? I forget all of the people that were in that trade, but Nick Chubb and Cordero Patterson were both in that trade, and they didn't do anything really for Ari. So I don't know. Maybe it's a good look for Ari. I mean for Sternick, but it's kind of the breakdown of the teams. Sternick put up over 100, so against Ari, that pretty much seals the deal. And then going over to Dunn's matchup versus Jared. This is actually a huge matchup for third place. Both teams coming in at 6-3. Dunn's team went off. I thought he was going to score like 175 points. This is some of the most fantasy points I've seen out of a team in a very long time. He only had 4 players not score over 20 points. Oh my gosh. One of those being his kicker and his defense, which makes sense. So of the position players, only 2 didn't score over 20. So, I mean, Sternick just put together a masterclass. I mean, Dunn put together a masterclass of fantasy football. I mean, congratulations, Dunn. Here is your due credit. And Jared's team kind of stunk. So, it is what it is. This was the stink bowl of the week. Kevin edged him out by 0.36 points. Which is very tragic for Ben. If Ben had a half decent week, he would be sitting in a much prettier spot in the playoff bracket. This one is a really tough one to see, because Ben really needed to win this against Kevin, who on paper before the week starts, you would give Kevin the win almost 99% chance. So the fact that Ben had a chance to win and came up 0.3 points short in the 70s is quite tragic. I mean, it boils down to Alvin Kamara just not producing what he needed to. I mean, he got 6 points. He gets 6.5 points. He gets one more reception. That is the game. So it's unfortunate to see. It's just a tough scene for this game here. And then Joe putting up a decent amount of points, 110, but Brandon out of left field dropping 151. That might be like, if you look at his previous weeks, if you combine the points of 2 of them, it probably equals 151. So Brandon just had 2 weeks in one, basically, because he's been stuck in the 70s and 60s for a long time. So I'm happy for Brandon to see this kind of production out of his team. Jeff Wilson was a great pickup for anybody in any league who got him. I was very jealous. I was trying to get a hold of Jeff Wilson. Justin Jefferson went off. And he has Zeke on his bench. Keenan Allen's coming back soon. So Brandon's going to be a force to be reckoned with, whether he's in the loser's bracket or not. The thing is, once playoffs hit, it's anyone's game. Every week is a different week. So we'll see. The only thing Joe has going for him is Justin Fields has been going crazy on the ground. I mean, like last week he had 180 rushing yards. This week 150. Still can't throw the ball for crap, but he can run. Oh my gosh. So it is coming down to the wire at this point, boys, and I'm very excited to see what is going to happen. I forgot to send out the text about the trophy. I'll do that soon. It's been a busy week, and I just haven't felt awesome. So that is what it is, but hopefully this was helpful to look at. I'm excited to see kind of what happens, and I will catch you guys in Week 11. Peace.